Bring it back, Carl.
Is yours like this too?
Call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Zebra, roll call.
Mrs. Denny. Mrs. Ellis.
Here.
Mr. Hefton.
Present.
Dr. Huber.
Here.
Mrs. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Mancinelli.
Here.
Mr. Seesack.
Here.
Mr. Twisler. Mr. Arman.
Here. Number 2 on tonight's agenda is the approval of minutes. Motion to approve the minutes of the October 22nd, 2025 meeting. Do I have a
Second.
question or comment? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2.02 is the invoice listing. Motion to approve the invoice listing for October and November of 2025. Do I have a
Second.
questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2.03 is the treasurer's report. Mr. Zebley, please.
As of September 30th, 2025, Pendoco's balance was $66,996,905. During October 2025, local, state, and federal revenues totaled $4,387,088. Disbursements were issued in the amount of $6,406,823. As of October 31st, 2025, Pendoco's current balance is $64,977,169. The motion is to approve the treasurer's report for October 2025. Do I have this motion?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Tonight's student representative report to the board. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maggie Buffalo, the Vice President of Student Senate. I'm super excited to tell you about all the exciting events in Sun Valley, including our college.
Microphone. You just hit your microphone.
You can talk.
Oh, sorry. I guess this one's not working. Should I restart, or did you guys not hear that?
You can start over.
Okay. Hi, I'm Maggie Buffalo, the Vice President of Student Senate, and I'm super excited to tell you about all the exciting events that Sun Valley has been up to, including our holiday festivities. Starting off, the Student Senate just held its fall blood drive yesterday, November 18th. We had 51 people sign up, and we were able to donate 35 pints in total, with the others not being able to donate due to medical reasons. Out of those 35 donors, 27 were the first-time donors. We appreciate all the students, teachers, and staff who helped make this day happen. On the same day, Clarence Yates, a senior at Sun Valley, was featured on CBS News as he was gifted the 2000th pair of sneakers from a nonprofit that teaches anti-bullying called Sneakers for Smiles. This organization is run by one of our very own substitute teachers, Claudia Cerullo. We are so proud that we have so many leaders who represent kindness and confidence. This week, Sun Valley has also started preparing for the Powder Puff, which will take place on Monday, November 24th. Players are having 2 practices, one of which was yesterday, November 18th, and the last one will be tomorrow, November 20th. This year, not only do we have girls playing football, but the junior class has decided to also bring boys to do cheerleading. Thank you to the volunteers from football and cheerleading teams who have coached these players. All winter sports officially started on November 14th, where all teams are looking forward to some great seasons. Last year, our teams did outstanding, with wrestling and boys basketball both being Chestnut champions, and the cheerleading team going to nationals in Universal in Orlando. To start our holiday festivities, the Turkey Bowl Pep Rally is taking place on Tuesday, November 25th. Like always, the band will be playing their traditional songs, and cheer will perform their game day competition piece. In this pep rally, we will honor our winter sports teams as they are announced by individual name and walk with their sports team to a song of their choosing. Each grade will also get to participate in their specific game, with the seniors doing the incredibly popular Pie a Teacher. Seniors are able to select a teacher and raise money to support United for Her, a foundation that helps support women with breast cancer. The 10 seniors who raise the most money get to pie their teacher, while the bottom 10 get pied themselves. Anyone who is in the middle is safe and doesn't have to do either. The Turkey Bowl will be on Thanksgiving, November 27th at Chichester High School at 10 a.m. This game celebrates tradition and friendly rivalry and is loved by the students. On December 17th, the chorus and band kick off our winter holiday celebrations with their concert, which will be at 6:30. To follow that, the Student Senate has picked spirit days for the week leading up to the winter break. Wednesday is Holiday Movie Character Day, Thursday Winter Wonderland, Friday Candy Cane Day, Monday Cozy Sweater Day, and Tuesday is Pajama Day. To end our winter festivities, we'll have a holiday hootenanny. This is a fan favorite where students can trade in their hard-earned $7 for things like hot chocolate, cookie decorating, and more.
Thank you very much.
All you guys do is have fun up at sundown.
Yeah, basically.
Like that.
Second part period of the party.
I love it. I love the spirit. Thank you, Meg.
Of course. Any questions? You usually have a couple.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. All right, number 4 on tonight's agenda, I'll turn over to Mr. Zedley.
Sure, so this would be the mailing audit presentation. So our independent auditors are Mailing LLP. From the accounting firm today, we have Matt Mead. He's going to give a presentation, review the executive summary, findings from the independent audit of our financial statements, as well as the single audit. I believe he'll talk a little bit about why it's preliminary and review those results. Yeah.
Good evening. Testing.
There we go.
Third time's the charm. So first off, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present again this year. I'll first start off with explaining why it's preliminary. So with the federal government shutdowns and some other factors in place, there's this compliance supplement for the single audit that we must follow. This usually gets issued around the summertime, which for some reason it wasn't, and then with the shutdown it still isn't, and now that the shutdown is done, we're hoping within the next month or so that it's ready, but it's really, we cannot determine at this time. I'm sure there's a lot of priorities with the departments, and I don't think OMB guidance is at the top of it, unfortunately. So when it comes time to issue the audit, we will. If you have to go out for a debt issuance or something and we have to split into reports, that's something to consider at a later time. We want to work with you and during this time, really undeterminable. So I'll talk about the summary of the findings and audit results. Fortunately, there was no findings to start. With the auditor's report, you have an unmodified opinion. This is a clean opinion. This is the best opinion that you can get as part of an audit process. This means that it's free of material misstatement, there's no scope limitations, and it's in accordance with US GAAP. There were no instances of non-compliance noted as part of the audit process, no findings, no deficiencies, no material weaknesses. Next, with the uniform guidance audit, as in draft form, we have also an unmodified clean opinion as it stands. As we get final guidance from OMB, we'll see if there's any changes in the compliance requirements for the IDEA special education cluster program that we tested, but we're hoping that there's not changes, and we think the likelihood of changes would be very low. The district is a low-risk auditee. To be a low-risk auditee, that means you have timely single audit filings for the prior 2 periods, and you had clean single audits. Moving on to the next page of the handout, I'm going to talk about the significant accounting estimates. The first one is capital assets. You have your cost basis of your capital assets, which is the total value when they're put into service, approximately $186 million. Current year depreciation expense was approximately $5.3 million, and then accumulated depreciation approximately $81 million. Common trends that we like to look at with school districts is how much of their total cost basis has been depreciated to see what useful life is left. The trends typically we see are between 40 and 60%. For Pendelco, it falls within that range at 43%. The next is your net pension liability. What this is, it's part of the PSERS pie for the retirement system. There was a significant increase of approximately $16 million, but this was due to the change in the district's proportional share based off of calculated contributions and covered payroll. The balance at the end of 2025 was approximately $90 million, and for 2024 is approximately $74 million. Next, you have your net OPEB liability, which is your other post-employment benefits. This is also part of the Fees Pie, and for 25 and 24, it flatlined at approximately $5 million. Last, we have compensated absences. There was a change with the implementation of GASB 101. With this, it changed how the recognition for it under the old standard GASB 16, it had to do with what would be paid out at retirement. Now the recognition has to take into account payouts at retirement, but also the likelihood of what's going to be used in the near future. With the change in the liability for 2025, it was approximately $2.4 million, and the restated balance for 2024 was approximately $2 million. On the next page, we have the revenue composition for the governmental funds. Overall, the revenue for 2024-2025 was approximately $79.4 million, and for the fiscal year 23-24 was approximately $77.2 million, reflecting the $2.2 million increase overall. This is broken out in three categories: local sources, state sources, and federal sources. With the local sources, that's mostly derived from tax revenues. In fiscal year 2024, it was approximately $55 million, and in the current 25 fiscal year, approximately $58 million. This $3 million increase was the reflection of increase in real estate tax millage. For state sources, that was relatively consistent at $19 million year over year, and federal sources for 2024, it was approximately $2.4 million, and in the current 2025 year was approximately $1.3 million. That $1.1 million decrease had to do with the ESSER COVID-19 funds, which the amount recognized was exactly $1.1 million. So that was the complete difference for that. The next chart we have on the handout is the expenditure composition for the governmental funds. This chart overall for total expenditures reflects approximately $76.1 million for fiscal year end 2025 and approximately $72.3 million for fiscal year end 2024 for an overall change of $3.9 million increase. So this is broken out in three categories: instruction, support services, and facilities. For instruction, at fiscal year end 2024, it was approximately $40 million. In 2025, approximately $42 million for instruction, reflecting a $2 million increase. This increase was primarily reflected due to payroll-related costs. For support services, 2024 was a reflection of $23 million, and 2024 for fiscal year end 2025 with a $1 million increase. This was due to a combination of payroll, technology, and transportation costs. And lastly, we have facilities, and with your facilities cost, it was approximately $2 million for both periods. On the final page of the handout, we have long-term debt. This is a depiction of your bonds and notes for the prior and current year. At fiscal year end 2024, it was approximately $78 million, and at fiscal year end 2025, it was approximately $75 million, and that was just due to the continued payoff of debt. Lastly, we have fund balance. This is basically if you take your assets, pay off all your liabilities, this is what you have left over, makes up fund balance. The chart below, it depicts the trend for 3 years. There's 3 lines on it: blue line for general fund, orange line is other governmental funds, which is your capital reserve and capital projects funds combined, and the gray line is your food service fund. First, I'm going to talk about the general fund, blue line. That was relatively consistent for fiscal year end 23 and 24 at $22 million. It saw an increase to $25 million in fiscal year end 2025. That was due to a variety of factors, but a few that I could key down on are increase in tax millage, which will increase your tax revenues, but also responsible spending of the district. Next, we have the orange line or other governmental capital funds. For 2023, it was approximately $5 million. In 24, it was approximately $9 million, and in 2025, approximately $10 million. You want to have good reserves in here to fund capital projects to avoid the need to go out and acquire debt when possible. So it's nice to see the trends continue to grow year over year. Lastly, with the gray food service line, it was consistent around $400K for all 3 periods. This is a comfortable level since the food service fund should function more on a not-for-profit basis. You're there to provide meals for students. Typically, we want to see anywhere from $0 to $1 million in this fund, so $400,000 across 3 years is a good benchmark to have. Once again, I want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to present, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you much.
All right.
Report. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Tonight's DCI report. Ms. Hill.
I just wanted to provide an update for the DCIU Executive Director search. The Delaware County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors remains dedicated to finding the best possible leader to guide the organization into the future. And as part of this ongoing commitment, the board decided to reopen the Executive Director application window to ensure a broad and competitive pool of candidates. This step reflects the board's deliberate and thoughtful approach to the search process, emphasizing the importance of finding the right individual who embodies DCIU's mission and values. The board looks forward to continuing this process with optimism and care as we work towards selecting an exceptional leader for our organization and the communities we serve. So the application window has been reopened to like mid-December, and then hopefully I'll have an update on where we're going from there after that.
Thank you. Number 6, tonight's superintendent report, Dr. Stonehouse.
Thank you. Mr. Arnold, report over here to not stand in the way of the presentation. So good evening, everybody. Again, welcome back to our latest board meeting for the month of November. Just a couple of things here. I do want to mention, I want to thank the board for the work that we did last week at our study session. We spent a number of hours here, and I know that's where the hard work is done. That's where the deliberation gets done. I want to thank you for time that we were able to present to you, and also for the deliberations and for the conversations that we had and the feedback that we received. So since we last met, oh my gosh, should have had one in July, actually sooner than that, but we now, as of November 12th, have a state budget. This delay had very significant, very negative implications for a large number of districts throughout the Commonwealth, so I'm pleased for state public education and all of the agencies that were impacted by not having the budget. We were not directly impacted by that. Our financial terms in this district were solid enough that we were able to certainly kind of weather that storm. But I know it was causing some anxiety and some pinch points for a lot of agencies throughout the Commonwealth. There are a number of people who feel like, look, school boards don't have a choice of not having a budget by a certain time. And why doesn't the state mind their own schedules as well and put themselves at that kind of level? So they hope that this was kind of an outlier. I've never, ever can I recall being in this spot and not having a budget for this amount of time. But in just 2 months, Governor Shapiro will have to be talking about the next budget. But we do have that. So some of the information that came out on the budget that I was just looking at today, some of the summaries that we have, please mention to you the investments that this budget shows. $565 million increase in adequacy funding that will not impact Pendelco very much. $105 million increase for basic ed funding. We're getting a 1.2% increase in our basic ed subsidy. There's a very modest increase in special ed funding across the Commonwealth. That's disappointing. It's only $40 million. That is a small amount of money given the exorbitant special ed costs that school districts are facing. We should take advantage of the $175 million expected savings in cyber charter tuition. That is something that will impact Pendelco taxpayers positively. We are finally starting to have some common sense reforms on cyber charter tuition. Pendelco can run its own cyber charter program, essentially, or its own cyber learning program for less than $10,000 a student. We should not have to pay $20-some thousand for a student to stay in their bedroom and learn remotely from an agency somewhere in the state of Pennsylvania. So there are some controls that have now been put in place that will enable us to lower our cyber charter tuition payments. So we're looking for some relief in that area. I will also say that we've also benefited from a very sharp decline in the number of students in our district who are even choosing cyber charters at all. So that was up in the 90s, our total charter count for any student. It's now down just slightly below 50. So I've always said, if you have that number down in that kind of 1% to 2% range, there are selections by people who want to go to brick and mortar or cyber charters. That's their decision. That's a reasonable number. I think the work that we've done and the confidence that people have in our own program has really paid off. A couple other items that always come out of an omnibus bill. The state is reverting back to a pre-K-6 teacher certificate. So for a while they had converted to pre-K-4. School districts were all saying that's a problem because we have fifth grade teachers. Where do they fall in the certification process? And they listened, and now in 2 years we'll be back to an elementary certificate and a 7 to 12 certificate. The state is creating pathways for individuals who had inactive teaching certificates to be able to return to the classroom. They are allowing prospective tech education teachers to demonstrate occupational skills, not just state testing skills. Again, we talked about the savings for cyber charter. And then importantly, when we talk about student well-being, there are now requirements that cyber charter school students have to be seen by the teachers, and that there must at least be one live communication between the cyber teachers and the student. It's hard to believe just 1 a week is all that's required, but that's better than none. But there were cases where students were neglected and they were in cyber programs for years and no one followed up on these cases. So there are some changes that will ensure that there is more of a focus on the well-being of students who aren't walking through our doors. So the PA Future Ready Index was released. If you go on that publicly released webpage, you can bring up Penn Delta School District, you can bring up any school district, you can bring up specific schools. Happy to share with them more some summaries. I can tell you that college and career readiness scores at all our schools were at 100 out of 100. So we continue to do a great job in the CCR indexes. On-track measures such as 3rd grade readiness, 8th grade algebra, they were solid. Our attendance numbers remain above the state average. Picked up a little bit at the high school last year, dipped down a little bit at the middle school. It's a national concern, which is that there's a growing trend for people to kind of just casually miss too much school time. So our staff does a really strong job of making sure that our attendance numbers need to be what they are. In terms of achievement, the growth measures were generally very solid. Proficiency depends upon the subject. Some areas could use some improvement, that was such as math. Language arts was much stronger. And we saw some growth in some areas, some modification in others. Generally, we always take a look and see how are we doing compared to the state, because that assessment that's given by the state tells you what the trend line should be. And generally speaking, I think the state math ticked up a point, ours dropped by about a point at secondary level. So we're kind of holding our own there, and that's what we've been focusing a lot of staff development on professional development in the area of secondary mathematics. So certainly encourage you to take a look at some of the index scores that have been released. Here, this is before and after. So up top there, you see where the very dated display case used to be. And we've been talking to the board, we heard loud and clear over the last couple of years from the community, hey, can we add some spirit, some elements, some pop to our schools? So I keep showing you some images. Here's one. This looks fantastic when you go by at night, backlit Sun Valley High School, as soon as you come in the lobby. There was a news crew there yesterday, and they used that as the background, of course. So a lot of great images of really fun things happening at the high school. I showed you some last month from the middle school, but we're also not forgetting our elementaries either. I just want to point out, we haven't framed this out yet, but if you're at the middle school, they too had some kind of drab walls and need a little pop. And this is a mural that they put together. It's going to be focused on the leader and me. Those unfinished flower areas will have mirrors, and there will be some language there. I am looking at the leader and me, and It's going to be really neat. What we love about this is every student and every teacher was permitted to paint part of that mural. So you got to come back here years later and say, oh yeah, I painted the top of the alligator head, you know, oh, I painted the butterfly. So if this turns out well, we'll look at maybe bringing something similar to some of our other elementary schools, to kind of make sure there's a lot of spirit, a lot of color, a lot of pop. So comprehensive planning for Pendelco, we are on a cycle where we are now approaching the next 3-year period. During the time that I've done this, there was a time when it was a 6-year process, now it's every 3 years. So having done this so often, we know that stakeholders appreciate when the administration does the front end work. So do the data analysis, do the assessments, bring some recommendations to us so that as outsiders, as stakeholders, either as parents or board members or community members, business members, they're not starting doing that kind of grunt work in the front end. So we have started to pull together our data assessment that will be coming back to the board and having some discussions with. And one of the things that we recognize is when it comes to goal setting, there are some foundational beliefs called the 5 Principles of Public Education Promise that we would like to embed within our comprehensive plan. So we will be coming forward to the board and to our other stakeholder groups with some goals based on data that do the following 5 things. Prioritize student-centered learning. That's a main piece that the board has always spoken to us about. Active learning, results-oriented learning. Ready for life skill building, principle 2. What can we do to attract, hire, retain, and reward the best people? Principle 3. How can we build highly engaged family, community, and business partnerships? We've heard that from the board. Principle 4. And then 5, measure what matters, right? What really matters most? That's what we should be putting our efforts towards, not kind of chasing every little metric and every little test score, but what matters most to this community as represented by the school board. So we have Dr. Kaminka, myself, Mr. Zebley, Dr. Pascola, all of us will be leading one of those principles with some of our other administrators and coming back with some ideas and recommendations based on the feedback that we've gotten from the goals that the board has asked us to focus on. And we'll show you the data, and we'll engage with stakeholder groups to develop a doable, comprehensive plan that reflects the will and desire of our stakeholders throughout Pendelco. So we're looking forward to that. That actually has already started because we will really want that posted in February for public consumption for board approval in March. We want to welcome Lisa Logan, who is our new home and school visitor. She has started, you'll recall, Barb Boyle retired. We'll recognize Barb in May when we recognize our retirees. Ms. Logan's office is at the Admin Building. She works closely with Regina McClure, and you may hear her name from time to time. So she is our new home and school visitor. We're really thrilled to have her part of the Pendelco team. This is American Education Week. A lot of reasons to be really excited just about the opportunity to take stock for a moment and recognize what every child in this country has access to. Parents, might be food insecure. They may be concerned about housing. They might not be able to afford clothing. But one thing parents in this country don't have to worry about is getting an education for their kids. You can have a family of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 students. They will all come to our buildings, and they will not have to pay tuition to get an outstanding, high-level education. And what's happening in our public schools today is so much more improved over what was offered just 30 years ago. The difference in the skills of the kids that walk through our doors, the difference in the needs of the kids who walk through our doors, the difference in their interests, in their language, in their cultures, in their background, and we cater to them all. And there's a lot of complaints about public education, particularly online, and I've heard it decade after decade after decade. In the 60s, people complained about American public education. In the 70s, they talked about it. Oh my gosh, we're going to be overtaken by Russia. In the 80s, we're going to be overtaken by Japan. In the 90s, we're going to be overtaken by China. On and on and on. And yet our country continues to be the great country that it is. If our American education system was so weak, we could not continue to power the economy that we have. That's the bottom line. So 40, 50 years of hearing about how these schools just are failing kids today. They're not failing kids. Many of us were the product of those schools, and you can't have it both ways. You can't say we're a great country, a great economy, incredible future, phenomenal democracy, but our schools have stunk for 40 or 50 years. It doesn't work that way. So I'm just really proud that we take a moment to acknowledge what we offer in this country. Also, I want to thank Allison Gangle, who submitted information for the DCIU's American Education Week publication. I'll send to the board the link to that. We feature something that happens in our district each year. This year, we actually feature, no surprise, Parkside Blue Ribbon. And we had this within the last month, so we talked. Phenomenal event. I know a couple board members were there. We shared a lot with you. Just look at those pictures. It was just a special, special day. When we talk about committed excellence, we took center stage at Parkside. We had a great kickoff in the morning, an assembly. The kids were outside celebrating with the bouncies. We had a dance-off with all of our mascots from around the district. Just a wonderful, great day. And to show you a little bit about Parkside, because I always say pictures tell the best story, we'll share with you the hype video that Ms. Gangle had put together. And the kids will enjoy that. at Parkside Elementary. And that sure looked like a blue ribbon place to me. I mean, you saw smiles, you saw rigor, you saw challenge, you saw technology, you saw care, you saw fun. And at the end, you also saw one of the individuals who is one of the principals here tonight. I want to thank Tara Young for phenomenal work. She's going to be recognized with some of her staff December 9th at the SAS conference in Harrisburg. But I know she has a couple words she wants to say to the board as well. So, Tara, you're welcome to come to the mic.
Good evening. I watched that video and it just gets me every time because that is just a day. And thank you to Allison Gangle for coming over and getting like a good snapshot of what a day at Parkside Elementary School looks like. As a principal, there's times that you just feel tremendous pride, and the blue ribbon designation is definitely one of those times. It's not often that schools get an opportunity to say that they were recognized by the state for having an outstanding closure of the achievement gap. And that's something that we have been able to do consistently at Parkside. We do that through having just wonderful, dedicated staff. Our teachers are showing up to work every day, wanting to help our kids. They are doing the work of personalizing learning for the students through the MTSS practices that we have. We are blessed to have interventionists and reading specialists who can help with that mission to make sure that students are being met where they are and that they can add value to their skill set on a daily basis. Like Dr. Steinhoff said, we have a lot of fun, but we also are exposing kids to leadership opportunities. At Parkside, they have leadership roles where they know that they have personal input into their school and their job is important. Like we all kind of are rowing the boat in the same direction, making sure that we are picking up momentum and having a really good showing, both academically and also just like with personal growth and things that we talk about in those ready for life skills. So that starts at Parkside Elementary School and in our elementary schools overall. I think that we're lucky to have such dedicated staff, but we're also really lucky to have the support of the surrounding community and the other schools in the district. Our celebration day was a perfect example of that. We had board members, we had high school administrators, middle school administrators, we had staff from district office, we had borough officials from Parkside, we had I had an elderly Parkside resident come down to the school with a bunch of Spirit magazines to say, hey, we saved these to bring to you so that your teachers and everybody here could just share in the pride that we all have for the Parkside community and the way that the school is positively reflecting on the surrounding community. So this truly is a full district and community effort to bring this type of recognition about, and we're just really appreciative. For the celebration day, it was a phenomenal day where the kids just got to let their hair down. We are so thankful for the board support in those inflatables. We had a local business who donated water ice. It was just a full day of celebration where the kids could just really revel in the fact that they achieved such a great recognition. So it's just wonderful. But we're not done. At Parkside Elementary School, we are driven. We are, touting the 100% belief that teamwork makes the dream work and that every student has the opportunity to show genius and every student is a leader. So we're going to continue to represent that. Thank you.
Tara, thank you. I had a certificate of appreciation and your superintendent forgot it.
Oh, okay.
I will send that
You know
over
where we
to
are.
I also want to thank Michelle Crowley, who is one of the great
Yes.
teacher leaders, reading specialists. She's very much part of their Lighthouse team with the leader of me, but she is a long time Parkside supporter, and I just wanted to come out tonight as well. And so on behalf of the staff, we really appreciate, Michelle, your dedication to Parkside. It makes a big difference. Thank you. So, in November, some of our schools do some special events to recognize our veterans. And again, this year, Asset and Coburn celebrated local veterans, did some fantastic heartfelt ceremonies that was student-led, student-driven, a lot of great student remarks. We had musicians, students performing. But if you look at the images that we had that came out of this day, a lot of them were posted on Facebook. It was just heartfelt. You have a lot of veterans who are like, wow, this means a lot to us. And my wife's in the school that closes on Veterans Day, and I was joking with her. I'm like, maybe you guys should open up and do what Pendelco does, which is educate our kids about Veterans Day, recognize our veterans. And I just really want to appreciate the staff of the schools that lead this up. I know it's a lot of work to make sure that it gets done well, and they continue to do a fantastic job. Last Friday night, I was fortunate enough to be able to give kind of welcoming remarks to a auditorium filled with parents from throughout Chester County and Delaware County, 19 different middle schools throughout the region. The very best middle school singers were brought together as we hosted the PMEA 7th and 8th grade chorus fest. You might recall we did that last year with a different age group. They were in a jam this year. They had to find a location. They couldn't find the location. We were having to step up and be that location. What a great night it was. The performance was fantastic. Had parents from other school districts coming up who were very complimentary about the high school, complimentary about the event, complimentary about the entire day for their kids, where they came in within one day. All those students were up on that stage. They get to meet one another, they practice, and they put together an incredible performance under the leadership of a guest conductor. So I was just really proud to host that program, and also of how well it went last week. Tomorrow night, our first fall information night for Sun Valley. This is being put together in response to some requests from the community to say, hey, there's a lot of great things that are happening at the high school. Can you let the 8th graders know about it earlier rather than the end of the year? So I appreciate the fact that our high school admin team, particularly Mr. Roscoe, said, sure, we will do that. Let's get that together. And let's provide all the 8th grade parents and the students a chance to come out and hear about the high school, so that as they progress through the rest of their 8th grade year, they start to feel really excited about the opportunities that they're going to have at a really impressive, high-achieving high school. Coming up, Thanksgiving recess, don't forget we have half-day conferences. We're still really pleased with the student-led conferences that we do, as well at the middle school level. I think that really helps get the kids ready for life. Thanksgiving holiday, the Turkey Bowl is away this year. As Maggie mentioned, that'll be over at Chichester. Wishing those guys good luck for that. We have our board reorganization meeting coming up on Monday, December 1st, where a number of our board members will take the oath. We will also recognize 2 new board members. And on that note, I do want to thank Mr. Hefton and Ms. Denny. I want to thank Mr. Hefton for your time that you did working with us here as a certificate of appreciation for your commitment, dedication, and service to the Philadelphia School District. That concludes my presentation for this month.
Thank you, Dr. Steinhoff. Announcements for the public tonight. The board met in executive session to discuss personnel and litigation matters. Any comments by members of the board? Any comments by members of the public? See is none. Items for board action. Number 10, start on page 4. Carry through 5, 6, and end at the bottom of page 6. It is the administrative recommendation to approve all items as presented. Do I have this moved?
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Tonight's consent agenda will go for 11.01 through 11.11. Does any board member wish to have anything removed to vote on separately? If not, I need a motion to approve 11.01 through 11.11. Please note that all bids are subject to solicitor review. Do I have this motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any comments by members of the public? Any comments by members of the board?
Yeah, Lynn, I have some, just overall, thank you for everybody. But couldn't be more proud to be a part of like a school district to watch the growth from when our kids start young. So it's definitely a great community atmosphere that continues to display throughout our school system. I was watching that video and I'm thinking to myself, how cool would that be, first day where your kids come to kindergarten and parents see that? Like, that's what this is about. So just wanted to say thank you. I'm very appreciative for all the hard work everybody does. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for your service.
I'd like to first thank Brett for all your service with our team. And then I'd also like to give a big shout out to Eric Zebley for a squeaky clean audit. To have that from you and your department, it's outstanding. Thank you for all you do for us.
Mine doesn't work. So I was kind of echoes a lot of the sentiment that Dr. Steinhoff had, so I was able to attend the Blue Ribbon ceremony, and it was pretty terrific. The vibe, the positive energy, the video went over so well, and every student, when they saw their face on the screen, it was like a yelp every time. So it was pretty awesome to see, and I had two of the best tour guides I've ever had in my life taking me around the school. So thank you for keep up the good work. As far as the Veterans Day celebration, I think it's great that we do that. I wasn't able to take my father this year, but I wanted to kind of recognize Lee over at Aston, who makes little placards for every veteran at event, so I thought that was very nice. Also, as a follow-up, the soccer program at Northley with the cheerleading program, I think they eclipsed $5,000 for that fundraiser that they did, which was awesome. This Friday's Aston PTL bingo, there's still some tickets left, so I would appreciate that. And I also wanted to thank Kate and Brent. I'll have the good fortune of still serving with Brentwood, Addison Valley, and some other capacities, but it was a pleasure working with you. Thank you.
I just wanted to obviously just repeat everyone's sentiments. Brad, you're going to be definitely missed on the board, and I'm sure we'll see you around all the baseball fields, softball fields, and everything else. But you're definitely going to be missed here. And also to Parkside, I know Terry always say it's the little school with a big heart, and that totally showed in that video and everything that you guys did. So congratulations, that huge accomplishment. I apologize I wasn't at last month's meeting. I've been very busy at the DCIU, as most of you know. But I did want to say that I did happen to have a visit at Sun Valley High School, and it was my first time really being there during the school day. And I was blown away with the school. I was blown away with the organization. I was blown away with the rigor that was happening in the classrooms, hearing teachers and their high expectations, and that whole entire process was just really amazing. And, I think it's definitely, I'm glad that we're having that information night tomorrow. I think parents at the middle school level really need to get a chance to go up and see that high school and see it in action. I think oftentimes there's this ridiculous perspective out there that it's not what it actually is. And I think actually seeing it and being there and experiencing it, I was just so impressed with the whole thing.
I just want to thank Brent for your service. You got a full-time job, volunteer in the community, several children in the community, and you always provide very good insight. Use your real-life experiences, and I always learn something from every idea that you've ever come across. So thank you so much. Great job.
I'd like to say thank you for coming out tonight. Looking forward to what's to come, because it's pretty, the level, or the bars would set pretty high with this, so I'm not quite sure where you can go from there, but everything you do over there is greatly appreciated. I know the parents and the kids appreciate it, as well as the board, that we know that it's been in good hands over there for quite some time. So, thank you. And Brent, we'll be seeing you everywhere, so not goodbye, but see you a little bit.
Yeah. Brett was the best part coach of 7th grade football.
Oh, it was a blast. Definitely an experience I'll remember. Want to continue to come back and help out. We were just talking beforehand, this new girls flag football is like a new thing coming, and it's coming fast. So hopefully to be more involved in that, and hopefully to present to everybody shortly, bring that into the school. So see what happens.
All right. future meetings, Monday, December 1st is our reorg meeting here at the Service Center. Please note the correction, that is a 7 o'clock start time, not 7:30. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.